it's an interesting confluence of events. Huh? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. We could use just a touch of volume. What did it say? A smidgen? Oh, you made it again. Good for you. Yeah. Same to you, but more of it. I started it. I pulled this ring. Is Dayanidhi still here? Can you go see it? Because he needs a calendar. And we have some probably in the gift. Not you, but Bir Chandra. You want to go? Yeah, just see if Dayanidhi is here. Because he's got the key to the gift shop. Jairarum Marava Kunjabihari Jairarum Marava Kunjabihari Gopijana Balaba Girivanadari Gopijana Balaba Girivanadari Jasoranandana Rajanaranjana Jasoranandana Rajanaranjana Jamunti Ravanachari Jamunti Ravanachari Injirarum Marava Kunjabihari Gopijana Balaba Girivanadari Jasoranandana Brajanaranjana Jamunati Ravanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Jaya Radha Madhava, Kunda Bihari, Hari. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Pariva Jakacharya Sitijishiman. His Divine Grace of Aicharan Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki. ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya Jagaguru Srila Prabhupada Ki. Anantakota Vaishnava Vrinda Ki. Namchar Shri Das Thakur Ki. Prem Shri Gaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki. Vrindavan Dham Ki. Mathura Dham Ki. Dwarka Dham Ki. Navadip Dham Ki. Jagannathpur Dham Ki. Jamunamai Ki. Gangamai Ki. Tulsi Maharani Ki. Bhakti Devi Ki. Samveda Bhakti Vrinda Ki. Srila Prabhupada Ki. Shri Shri Radha Giridhara Ki. Shri Krishna Sankirtana Jaga Ki. Go Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the divine lotus feet of Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Krishna Sadamo Bhagate Dhammaganadi Bisaha Kalauna Sadhasamesha Parano Konadodata Narayana Namaskricha Naram Chaivam Narotama Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayat. The Bhagavatam, which is Brinda's son, has arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied with knowledge, religion, etc. Persons who have lost their vision to the dense darkness of the age of Kali shall get light out of this Purana. Before beginning our study of the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, we should first offer respects to the personality of God Narayan, to the Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, the goddess of learning Mother Saraswati, the author Srila Vyasadeva, and my spiritual master Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are on, assuming we're in sync. Hang on a second here. Well, that's interesting. We are on the 7th canto, chapter 9, verse 38. Is that correct? Yes, sir. Well, that's handy. Tasmai. Well, and yet we were so close. All right. Now, itam nritaryag rishi deva Jasasvatara Lokan Vibhavayasi Hamsi Jagat Pratipan Dharmam Maha Purusha Pasi Yuganuvritam Chana Kalau Yad Abhavas Triyugo Ita Sa Tvam Itam Nigtiryag. I'm trying to assume Brahma Samhita. Okay. Itam Nrityag Rishideva Jasavatara Lokan Vibhava Yasi Hamsi Jagat Pratipan Dharmam Mahapurushapasi Yuganuvritam Chanakalau Yadabhivas Triyugata Satam Itam Tiryagas Rishideva Ja Savatara Lokan Vibhava Yasi Hamsi Jagat Pratipan Dharmam Mahapurushapasi Yuganuvritam Chanakalau Yadabhavas Triyugata Satvam Itam Nirtiryagishideva Jasavatara Lokan Vibhava Yasi Hamsi Jagat Pratipan Dharmam Mahapurushapasi Yuganuvritam Chanakalau Yadabhavas Triyugota Sattvam Itam Nrityagishideva Jasavatara Lokan Vibhava Yasi Hamsi Jagat Pratipan Dharmam Mahapurushapasi Yuganuvritam Chanakalau Yadabhivas Triyugota Sattvam Itam Triniryagasdeva Jahasatara Lokan Vibhava Yasi Hamsi Jagat Pratipan Dharmam Mahapurushapasi Yuganuvritam Chanakalau Yadabhivas Triyugota Sattvam Itam Niryagasdeva Jasavatara Lokan Vibhava Yasi Hamsi Jagat Pratipan Dharmam Mahapurushapasi Yuganuvritam Chanakalau Yadabhivas Triyugata Sattvam Iham Deva Jasavatara Lokan vibhava yasi hamsi jagat pratipan. Dharmam mahapurusha pasi yuganuvritam. Jana kalau yadabhivas triyugata sattvam. Itam. In this way, Nri, like a human being, such as Lord Krishna and Lord Ramchandra. Tiryak, like animals, such as the boar. Rishi, as a great saint. Parsharama. Deva, as demigods. Jasa, as an aquatic, such as the fish and the tortoise. Atarai, by such different incarnations. Lokan, all the different planetary systems. Vivavayasi, you protect. Hamsi, you sometimes kill. Jagat pratipan, persons who have simply created trouble in this world. Dharmam, the principles of religion. Mahapurusha, O great personality. Pasi, you protect. Yuga anuvritam, according to the different millennium. Chana, covered. Kalau, in the age of Kali. Yet, since. Abhava, have been and will be in the future. Triyuga, named Triyuga. Ata, therefore. Sa, the same personality. Tvam, you. In this way, translation, in this way, my Lord, you appear in various incarnations as a human being, an animal, a great saint, a demigod, a fish, or a tortoise, thus maintaining the entire creation in different planetary systems and killing the demonic principles. According to the age, O my Lord, you protect the principles of religion. In the age of Kali, however, you do not assert yourself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore you are known as Triyuga, or the Lord who appears in 3 yugas. Also you say, in this way, my Lord, you appear in various incarnations as a human being, an animal, a great saint, a demigod, a fish or a tortoise, thus maintaining the entire creation. Don't say it too fast, everyone at the same speed. It makes it easier. In different planetary systems, and killing the demonic principles. According to the age, O my Lord, you protect the principles of religion. In the age of Kali, however, you do not assert yourself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore you are known as Triyuga, or the Lord who appears in 3 yugas. And Prabhupada's purport. As the Lord appeared just to maintain Lord Brahma from the attack of Madhu and Kaitava, as was mentioned yesterday in the verse, he also appeared to protect the great devotee Prahlad Maharaj. Similarly, Lord Chaitanya appeared in order to protect the fallen souls of Kali Yuga. That's us. Well, at least me. There are 4 yugas or millenniums, Satya, Treta, Dwapara, and Kali, which are often compared to what in the year other than Dravida? What other, of course, California, it's sort of a sameness, but in most places there are 4 seasons, summer, spring, fall, winter, and each have their characteristics. Similarly, the timing of the universe is cyclical, and it goes through these 4 ages, and on up you go. Okay. But although Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who appeared in the Kali Yuga, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he never asserted himself as such. On the contrary, whenever Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was addressed as being as good as Krishna, he blocked his ears with his hands, denying his identity with Krishna. Where were we? Because he was playing the part of a devotee. Lord Chaitanya knew that in Kali Yuga there would be many bogus incarnations pretending to be God. Therefore, he avoided asserting himself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is accepted as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, however, in many Vedic literatures, especially Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.32. Krishna Varna Trisha Krishnam Sangopangastra Parshadam Yagai Sankirtana Prayer Yajanti Sumedasa. In Kali Yuga, intelligent people worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is always accompanied by his associates such as Nityananda, Advaita, Gadadhara, and Srivas. The entire Krishna consciousness movement is based on the principles of the Sankirtan movement inaugurated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, one who tries to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the medium of the Sankirtan movement knows everything perfectly. He is Sumedasa, a person with substantial intelligence. Om Gana Tamarandasya Gana Gana Silhakaya Jakshusha Militan Gena Tazani Shri Gurave Namaha. I was in Prabhupada's room one time, and with the darshan, a number of devotees, and a man said this chanting is brainwashing. Prabhupada's response was, if the brain is dirty, shouldn't you wash it? Which kind of caught the man off. And then Prabhupada said, first, get a brain, then we'll wash it. So the man said, I have a brain. Prabhupada said, if you have a brain, it's cow dung. Otherwise, why do they, you're smoking, it says, if you smoke this, you'll drop dead. No, so they put on different messages. So yeah, one says smoking kills. So, and yet they go on. They label something, anyway, everyone knows. You're killing the baby in the womb. No, it's fetal tissue. So, in so many ways, they don't have intelligence. We could spend the whole class talking about that. But, and I do remind me, yesterday, Dravida Prabhu pointed out that Sridhar Pandit is kolavecha Sridhar. So I have two Leelas we can read from Chaitanya Charitamrita. From Chaitanya Bhagavat, which is the early pastimes of Mahaprabhu. So we'll try to end on time to do that. Om Gana Temerandasya Gana Gana Salakaya Jakshusha Militan Gena Tazarishi Gurave Namaha. So you mean to tell me that God comes in all these different forms, and what? As a tortoise? As a boar? Of course, that boar is singing Vedic hymns and is so large that it lifts the earth planet when it falls into the lower realms. So many things, but come on. That's a bit half man, half lion. If you want to believe fantasy and folk tales, and go ahead, but not for me. Well, let's flip it over. It's not very amazing to think, we have the famous picture of the Sistine Chapel, which is the most used image of God, and he's there with wrinkles and a beard and gray hair and not in a very good mood. So, and okay, God is the original person. In other words, it's a very simplistic understanding. God is an old man with a beard. And it doesn't take It's not, I mean, on one hand, but it's not really saying that much. I had a father, and he had a little gray hair. My father's had a father. He had more gray hair. My father's father, well, he must be, It's just a projection out of our ordinary experience. God is the original, so he must be an old man. And nobody really likes being old, so he's probably a little grouchy. But the fact of the matter is that God is achinta, he's inconceivable, he's all-powerful. What is the use? Prabhupada calls it a miser. If someone has money but doesn't spend it, sometimes you read about the old geezer, the old miser, and when he drops dead, you find out he's got millions of dollars stuffed in his mattress, but he's living, clothing from Goodwill, or, what's the use of having all that money if you don't spend it? If you don't, I don't want to use the word flaunt, but if you don't manifest it. So Krishna, one of the symptoms of Bhagavan, one of the definitions, the 6 different features, renunciation, all strength, all beauty, all wealth, all knowledge, all renunciation. I've probably forgotten one. Fame, all fame, sure. So 6, shouldn't that be manifest? Shouldn't God blow our mind? When I was a kid, I made, and probably many of you did, I don't know if they still do it, but we used to make a model of the universe, of the planetary system, with little styrofoam balls, and you've got the right size proportion, got the sun in the middle, and you can hang them like a mobile, and then, you can get ones that turn. And, I think I made mine in 3rd grade. How old are you in 3rd grade? We could turn this up a little bit more. We don't pay by the amp. How old are you in 3rd grade? 1st grade, you're 6 or 7. You're 8 years old, something like that. And at 8 years old, you can conceive of the entire universe. Isn't it more... Hare Krishna, that's good. Thank you, Prabhu. Isn't it more like we were describing the other day, the structure of the universe that's being fabricated for the Temple of Vedic Planetarium, that's a complete mind blower, and yet can confirm and predict all the phenomena we see in the cosmos, eclipses, all that stuff. Shouldn't it just be, what do they call it, jaw-dropping? Should Krishna, should the Supreme Personality of God appear as an old man with a beard and not in a good mood? You want to talk about not in a good mood? What about Ugra Nrsinga jumping out of the pillar? I mean, shouldn't God just be awe-striking? Is that a bona fide word? Shouldn't you be awestruck? So this is not fantasy. To just anthropomorphize, to just project our mundane experience on the absolute truth, and therefore he's an old man with a beard. That's very simplistic. But to think, there's that list here of all the amazing forms, shouldn't God come in many different forms? I mean, Prabhupada makes the point that people are known differently. Suppose I'm a high court judge. Well, you better call me in court, Your Honor. You don't say, hey, knucklehead. It's not going to get you off to a good start. So, and his friends, call him Charlie. His kids have another name for him, Pops or whatever it is. The wife has some intimate name. So different names according to the relationship. I mean, that's just an ordinary person, maybe known by, right there's 4 relationships, 5 relationships, and you need a different name for each one. So if I can present myself, that's, I think, the term they use now. If I can present myself as 5 different personalities, then the Supreme Personality of Godhead doesn't come in unlimited forms and present himself in so many amazing, mind-blowing ways. Isn't that more logical? Then he only comes in one way that's not very attractive and not very happy. It doesn't make any sense at all. It doesn't do justice to the power of God. It's just projecting our mundane experience on the absolute. So that's what Prabhupada's talking here. Now, what is it? Paritanaya sarunam vinasaya chaduskanam dharma samstapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge. That Krishna comes in different ages. And other than Dravida Prabhu, only so others have a chance and stay awake. A priori, we know you know the answer. So, okay, in that verse I just quoted, Krishna comes, yuge, age, different ages. What is his reason for coming? Certainly he must have a reason. Maybe he's got more than one reason in that verse. He might even have 3 reasons in that verse to offer you a hint. So who can give us one of the reasons Krishna shows up? Just one. What's that? Dvija money. One. Just one. To deliver the pious. Okay, what's another reason? What's the other side of the coin? Annihilate the miscreants. And what's the other reason? Dravida Prabhu. To reestablish the principles of Dharma, of religious. And Prabhupada points out Dharma is not a kind of faith. That you can change. But the essential principles of behavior in this world. What it means to be a human being. But Prabhupada said actually none of those are the right reason. To everyone's surprise. He can have, if he wants to annihilate the demons, earthquake, flood, cataclysmic war. It's not a complicated thing. He doesn't need to come to do that. And to deliver the devotees have firm faith in Krishna. They already know that Krishna is going to deliver them. So that's not really. And to establish, so the real reason Krishna comes, Prabhupada said, is just to give the devotees something to talk about. Just his amazing, so it should be amazing. And that gives us a picture of what it means to become Krishna's devotee. I was thinking, because he talks about to delivering his devotees. Okay, that's not something that happened in the distant past with Prahlad. Most devotees can tell stories. And we were driving in Michigan, and it was the beginning of winter. And what happens is it snows, then the sun comes out and the snow will melt, and then it will freeze again as it gets, late afternoon or evening. And that becomes like a glass sheet. It's very easy to slide and slip. It's quite dangerous. So I was reading Krishna book in the back seat of the car. We were going on book distribution. I was reading in the back seat of the car. I was holding the book up, and the devotee said, "What exit was I supposed to get off?" And I said, "Mill Ridge Drive. That's on the way to the mall." And he just passed it. So he jerked the wheel just to catch the exit. And you're going 70 miles an hour plus, and you're on a sheet of glass or ice, and you jerk the wheel all of a sudden, what happens? Everyone knows that something in a state of motion continues on a state of motion until acted by an outside force. In other words, you're going this way, there's no traction, you jerk the, and because I remember I was sitting there reading, and he said, "Oh, geez," and I just read in Krishna book that, how Krishna delivers his devotees. And devotees are fearless because they know that Krishna will deliver them. And I was thinking, boy, if I really believed that, if I had absolute conviction, I'd be in no anxiety about anything. And just when I was thinking that, the guy asked the exit, jerked the wheel, and I watched this sign go around once, go around twice, past the window, because I was looking up from the line down, and 3 times. We spun around 3 times. We slid through a whole, we were in the fast lane, so how many? 3 or 4 lanes. Everybody else going 70 miles an hour. And we didn't hit a single thing. We slid all the way up across, and we landed facing in the right direction on the shoulder. So I thought, geez, maybe Krishna just zip, zip. I'm here. Here's proof, I had another experience that we used to do, and I don't recommend this. We used to, as a full day of Sankirtan, we'd go out to the malls or whatever it was. Then in the early evening, we'd go to the county fairs. They have so many fairs in Michigan. In the Midwest, they're really into it. And, so we would do that, sneak in. And then when we were done with that, we'd usually finish up there about 9:30. And just to finish off the day, we do drive-in movies where you're going to find somebody out and about at 10 o'clock at night. Hey, there are drive-in movies. And we would alternate the rows. We would do, I'd do one row, and you know how a drive-in movie theater. So I was with my good friend Indra Bharta. And Indra Bharta Prabhu, maybe it was me, we got our rows mixed up. So we were doing the same row. And evidently, and I have to say frankly, I don't know if they still have drive-in movies, but because they're in the dark, people are often doing nefarious things and not just one thing. They're often doing a couple. They're getting intoxicated. You got the picture. So evidently, Indra Bharta Prabhu had just knocked on the window of this car and interrupted them when they were up to whatever they were up to. And, they were angry. It was a man and a woman, and they were angry that they'd been interrupted. I didn't know any of this. I was on the wrong row. Let's put it on my shoulders. I was on the wrong row. So I went up, knocked on the guy's window. Same guy. And he was furious. He jumped out. This is Detroit. He jumped out, and he pulled out a gun, a revolver. And he was blind with rage. And he was going to shoot me. And I thought, well, so it goes. Plugged at the Big Sky Drive-In. Here we go. Oh, yeah. I was praying to Lord Nrsingadev. Now, anyways, in those days, we used to wear wigs sometimes. Now, we go out as monks, and we present the truth as it is. People know what they're getting. And do better than we did in those days. It's something wonderful. And a credit to the Sankirtan devotees and Mahaprabhu's mercy. Anyway, I had just shaved my head the night before. And it was a full moon night. So picture this scene. And I've got a wig and a ball cap on. The guy jumps out of the car, pulls out his, pulls out his revolver. He's going to plug me. Natural instinct is to take off like a jackrabbit. So I started to move, and he ran out, and he grabbed me. But he grabbed me by my hair, which was the wig. Whoosh. All of a sudden, he's holding this wig and a baseball cap. It's like you scalped me, It just freaked the guy out. Ah! Zing! I took off. So, Krishna saved me. If he'd grabbed me by the shirt or something else, I would have ventilated me, as they say. So, but here's an even better one. And there's so many. Krishna interacts with his devotees and saves his devotees. Prabhupada he was challenged during a talk, and I forget where it was, with one of the Pandals programs, the big tent programs, 10,000, 20,000 people there. And someone said, well, you just go where it's easy. Oh, yeah, you try going to preach in America. But, you're going to the Western and you're preaching in here in South India. That's easy. Why don't you go somewhere difficult? Why don't you go to Bangladesh, said the Prabhupada. Pakistan, said Pakistan. So Prabhupada thought, well, all right, I'll take it as the word of Krishna. And he sent Brahmananda and Garga Muni to Pakistan. Pakistan had not separated. They hadn't had the Bangladesh war yet. Brahmananda Prabhu told me this personally. He was there in, I don't know whether it was East Pakistan or West Pakistan. I think it was West Pakistan. And all of a sudden, the Bangladesh war broke out. And then India jumped in. The reason I mention this is that they started killing all the Hindus. The Pakistani Muslim, there's so many. There's Catholics fighting with Protestants, Jewish fighting with Muslim, So this happened to be Muslims and Hindus fighting. And all the Hindus were running for the border. They were stopping all the border traffic. They're putting on pants, trying to grow a beard, inshallah. They're trying to, get out of there as fast as possible. It was true. It's history. They were trying to get out as fast as possible. So Prabhupada sent a telegram when the war broke out and told them, get out immediately. So Brahmananda as a sannyasi and Pusta Krishna as a brahmachari, they're on a bus going to the border. The Pakistani military is pulling people off the buses and shooting them. They're getting on every bus. So sure enough, just before the border, the Pakistani military's there. They get on the bus, and they're looking down the rows. Everybody's trying to grow a beard, and inshallah. And in the back seats, how many things are wrong in this picture? Shaved head, Sika, Dhoti, Kurta, Tila, Kunti Mala. There's two Vaishnavas. Took them off the bus. Had them stand by the side of the road. Set up the tripod machine gun. Aimed right at him. Pulled it back. And Brahmananda said to Pusta Krishna, put your hand in your bead bag, Prabhu. We're going back to Godhead. And just like they were posing for a picture, put their hand in the Hare Krishna, Krishna. And it so unnerved the Pakistani soldiers, because most people, be crying for their mother, losing control of their bowels, begging for mercy. And here are these two Vaishnavas, like they're posing for a picture, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. And to the credit of the Pakistani soldiers, they said, these are genuinely saintly people. Get back on the bus. And that's how they got out. So, there's no question that Krishna within the heart. So I'm just saying there are so many examples of how Krishna protects his devotees. So we should have confidence. Prabhupada tells a story. It's not quite the same. But there was I think it was a British, under the British Raj, there was a Brit who purchased a factory. And he told them, you can't come in religious dress. Forget hajib? Whatever. You forget that. Vaishnavas, you can't wear kunti mala and tilak. No. You just come dressed in work clothes. And there was one elderly man, a Vaishnava, and he said, I've always dressed as a devotee. I'm not changing my dress. And he was the only one factory, 500 people. Probably said it was a big factory. He didn't mention the number. You can imagine 500 is a reasonable number. Everybody scrubbed off their tilak, took off their kunti mala, got some, I don't know what they call it, the women wear that pantsuit, instead of a sari or a... And the man looked out. Evidently they all assembled in the factory yard beforehand and got their assignments. And he saw one man with a shaved head and tilak, kunti mala, and a dhoti. And to the factory owner's credit, he said, you're a man of courage. He said, you don't have to follow this. You can come and... Everybody else you have to, because you don't really believe it. But this man, he can come in tilak, kunti mala. So having that conviction that Krishna protects his devotees, it works out, you know. Of course, we should point out that the devotee is not the body. So sometimes, you know, Krishna takes the devotee back to Godhead. So I do want to read about, but I wanted to say just a few other things. You know, that Krishna comes according to the age. Prabhupada compares it to an expert doctor gives a prescription. So, and Treta, that Krishna only comes, what is this? He's hidden avatar. So, yeah, Prabhupada says that he's known as Tri Yuga. That's because, as Prabhupada says, he doesn't manifest or assert himself as the personality of Godhead. In those, Gargamuni, in the Krishna book Prabhupada describes, says this boy, he's at the name-giving ceremony of Krishna in Nanda Maharaja's cow barn, says this boy is come in 4 different ages, and he comes in 4 colors. Anyone know all 4 colors other than Dravida for extra bonus points? What are those 4 colors? It's not the rainbow flag. Anyone know? Anyone know one? White, red, yellow, and black. So he comes as, in the white, he comes as, anyone know? Dravida. He comes as Kapila Deva, white. And then he comes as the red in Treta Yuga. I've got something to read about that. That's why it's a setup for that. Then it comes as Sham, Krishna himself, in Dwapara Yuga. And so Gargamuni says, even though he's known as Tri Yuga, he also says he comes in 4 different colors in each age. So that yellow color is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But why doesn't he assert himself as the supreme? Of course, sometimes, what is that, the Mahaprakash, when he revealed himself. So sometimes he'll do that. But generally speaking, because what is the last instruction in Bhagavad Gita? Everyone knows the verse. Sarvadharma, which means, are we just parrots? What's it mean in English? Just surrender unto me. But Prabhupada says, Sumedasa, we don't even have sufficient brain substance. What does that mean, surrender? So Prabhupada says, where Bhagavad Gita ends, just surrender to me, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings begin. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu shows us what it means to surrender. Become my devotee, okay, what does that mean? So Mahaprabhu comes in the mood of a devotee to show us how to surrender. Prabhupada said it's like sometimes the teacher, the kid's writing the ABC on, he can't get it right, and the teacher will take the child's hand, say, no, like this, A, you know. So the teacher's not learning ABC, but it's acting in that role to teach the student. So in Kali Yuga, people are so dense and dull. What is it? Lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed. And what is slow? What is short-lived? Manda. Yeah, I mean, slow. So, I mean, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that's why one of the reasons he's the most magnificent. Also because he's giving pure Krishna prema, Vrindavan Lila. Okay, so, and I promised I would read something about the, yeah, I should do that. Okay, so, yeah, that I'm going to do, but I also wanted to read about, if I brought it over, because I was thinking the red incarnation Treta Yuga, I don't know that much about it. Yeah. But, you know, I did a folio ki jai. So this is from the Srimad Bhagavatam. There's several quotes here. This is from the chapter summary, the 11th canto, chapter 5. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Hari, accepts in each of the different yugas various colors, names, forms, and is worshipped by various prescribed processes. In Treta Yuga, his color is red, and 4-armed is the personification of sacrifice, or jaga. is characterized by the symbols of a sacrificial spoon, ladle, etc. You know, when you've seen those, like Krishna has his different weapons, chakra, club, this and that. Prabhupada said for the devotees, he's got lotus and conch, sweet. And Prabhupada said for the demons, clubbing and cutting, chakra and his club. So this incarnation of Yajna, the red incarnation named Yajna, comes in red color, and his symbols, what he's holding in his four hands, ladle, spoon, and other implements of sacrifice. Purport. The shrook is a particular implement for pouring. You've seen that with Dharma, you know, that with it, and the little spout at the end. And Prabhupada adds a little something to it. He gives us the name of the thing, gives the length. He says a shrook is a rod-like handled and a spout with a small, shallow groove at the tip, resembling a swan's beak. I never thought of that, but it actually looks like that. So that's something about that. It says there, these are the Lord's symbols in Treta Yuga when the Lord incarnates to introduce the Yuga Dharma of Yajna, or sacrifice. Only two more. In the, again, 11th canto, translation. In Treta Yuga, those members of human society who are fixed in religiosity and sincerely interested in achieving the absolute truth worship Sri Hari, who contains within himself all the demigods. The Lord is worshipped by the rituals of sacrifice taught in the three Vedas. And the last one. In Treta Yuga, the Lord is glorified by the names of Vishnu, Yajna, Prashinigarbha, Sarvadeva, Urukram, and he gives a whole Jayanta, Urugaya. Purport. Prashinigarbha refers to the Lord's incarnation as the son of Prishnideva and Prajapati Sutapa. It indicates that okay, so there it is. That's about the red incarnation in Treta Yuga. So we will read just a short pastime, just one. This is from the Chaitanya Bhagavat. Chaitanya Bhagavat is written by Veda Vyas. Veda Vyas comes as Vrindavan Das Thakur. So, and it focuses on the early pastimes, childhood pastimes, up until the point that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu takes sannyas and then starts his Sankirtan movement like that. Whereas Chaitanya Charitamrita is by Krishnadas Kaviraj, noticing that some pastimes had not been discussed in depth, and he mostly deals with the, you know. Okay, here we go. If I can find my spot. Nimai was always very pleased with Sridhar's behavior, and he took advantage of any excuse to visit him. They would converse confidentially and joke with one another. In this way, several hours of the day were often passed very happily. Sridhar would offer his obeisances and a seat as soon as the Lord arrived. Sridhar's calm and mild personality were a vivid contrast to the Lord's stormy nature. Nimai Pandit asked Sridhar, Sridhar, you always chant the holy name of Lord Vishnu. Why are you so poor? What is the reason for your suffering? You serve the husband and master of Goddess of Fortune, Lakshmi Devi. Why then are you always in need of food and clothing? Sridhar responds, I'm not starving, and you can see that I'm wearing clothing, replied Sridhar. They are not very good, it must be admitted, but at least my body is covered. Nimai said, but Sridhar, your clothes are torn in several places, and I know you have no rice in your house. Look around you, all the people worshipping the goddess Durga, and none of them are in want of food and clothing. So he's testing him out, you know. You made a very good point, says Sridhar. But truthfully, everyone in life is more or less the same. The king may live in a palace and surrounded by great opulence, and he may eat sumptuously. The birds may live in the trees and gather humble food. But basically, everyone's approach to life is the same. They're all eating, sleeping, mating, and defending somehow or other. It's all going on. I added that. But basically, everyone's approach to life is similar. By the Lord's design, each one of us must fulfill the duties of our respective position. And while doing so, we are all more or less behave alike. Actually, I'm quite satisfied with the life I'm living. Prabhupada said he was living under a tamarind tree, and he would cook a vegetable from tamarind leaves. In other words, not very opulent. His roof leaked, so many things, but he was oblivious to it. He was just happy. People thought he was calling out at night because he was hungry, but he was calling out and crying for Krishna. And the neighbor said, we don't get any rest, feed this man. But he wasn't hungry, he was hungry for Krishna. Nimai said, this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I'm sure that you have immense wealth hidden somewhere, and you're enjoying very tasty food in secret. Soon I will reveal this to all the people, and your secrecy and cheating will be revealed. Let us see for a moment Mother Sachi's vision. Oh, what happened here? Anyway, we'll skip that. Nimai said, I'm not going to let you off so easily. Oh, Sridhar says, my dear Brahman, please come and see my house. We should not unnecessarily argue. In other words, you'll see the leaky, I don't have any fancy furniture, the roof leaks. Just come look for yourself. Nimai said, I'm not going to let you off so easily. What are you going to feed me today? I make a meager living selling leaf cups, replied Sridhar. What can I hope to offer you? Actually, he had a banana grove, he describes, and with the leaves he would make plates and make cups, and he would also take the banana root and sell it. You can cook it up like a vegetable. And half of his income, meager income, half he would give for worshiping Mother Ganga. So this was a really austere. Nimai assured, I will not touch your hidden wealth right now. If you simply give me some banana root, banana stalks, without taking any money, I will not argue with you any longer. Sridhar thought to himself, this Brahmin is very aggressive. He's talking about Nimai. He said, someday he may even beat me. And if he does, what can I do? Because he was an old man. I really cannot afford to give him what he wants and what he comes and demands every day. Still, he looks like such a wonderful personality, beautiful, Gaur Sundar. How could he have possibly be an ordinary human being? Let him take whatever I have, by force or by trick. I think that this must be my good fortune. Despite my poverty, I will continue to give him whatever he wants. Having come to this conclusion, Sridhar replied, my dear Brahmin, you do not have to pay for something. I will give you whatever you want with a cheerful heart. Take some bananas and whatever leaf cups I have, but please don't fight with me anymore. Yes, that is quite satisfactory, Nimai said. But please make sure that I get good quality bananas, banana stalk, and radish. In other words, you're giving it for free, but I want a good, best quality. We're almost done. Daily Nimai ate with Sridhar from his leaf cups, relishing his cooking. When a pumpkin grew on Sridhar Maharaj's roof, you see that in India, the simple hut, and you've got to suspend like cucumber, or bitter melon, or pumpkins, squash. It's got to climb. It's a vine. So they just have it grow on the roof, and it hangs over the side. So one day there was a pumpkin on top of Sridhar Maharaj's roof. Sridhar Prabhu. Hare Krishna. We're almost done. When a pumpkin grew on Sridhar's roof, the Lord had it specifically cooked with milk and hot spices. Brahm knows how to make this prep. It's really tasty. Okay. One day Nimai asked Sridhar, what do you think of me? As soon as you answer my question, I will return home. Sridhar replied, you are a Brahmin, part and parcel of Lord Vishnu. No, you don't know, interrupted Nimai. I belong to the community of cowherds. You see me as a young Brahmin boy, but I consider myself to be a herder of cows. Sridhar smiled at the Lord's comment, for he could not recognize the Lord and his Lord and Master being deluded by the internal potency Yogamaya. The Lord said, Sridhar, I'm going to reveal to you the real truth. See the river Ganga? I am the source of the Ganga, which he was worshipping daily. Nimai Pandit, says Sridhar. You have no fear of disrespecting Ganga Devi, exclaimed Sridhar. People usually become more grave and serious as they mature, as they grow older. But your frivolity has only doubled since you've grown from childhood. So that just gives you a flavor. They would argue back and forth. He also, after Harinam, he would bring everyone to stop at Sridhar's house and say, well, you have so much money, you have all this hidden wealth, feed us. And they wouldn't be able, and all of a sudden Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would manifest everything. And after you eat, sometimes you have just settled everything, you want to drink a little water. The only utensil he had was a broken iron pot. And iron, you can drink out of best is gold. You can drink out of marble-carved cups. You can drink out of, I don't know if they had stainless steel. You can leaf cup, clay cup. Those are all pure. But a rusted iron pot? So it will end there, but it gives you a flavor of Mahaprabhu's pastimes. Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.